Hi Flosstube, my name is Haley, otherwise known as Peregrine Stitcher, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel, which is all about cross stitch. This is Flosstube number 29, and today is February 12th, 2025. I have a lot of exciting things to show you today, and I'm hoping that this time my youngest will be able to help me do some editing, which will make it even more exciting. But either way, I can't wait to show you everything I've been working on. I have some fully finished objects, some finishes, a couple new starts and finishes, and some whips. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to go, let's start with the fully finished objects. Okay, so I showed this to you last time. This is Pretty Little Chicago by Satsuma Street, and I got it framed. It's on a 32 count even weave with floss from Stash, and I chose this bright blue frame because I think it brings out the colors without being matchy-matchy, and the friend that I'm giving it to really likes bright colors, and so I thought this just fit in, and I like how it turned out. So yeah, it's so cute. I hope she likes it. So I wanted to show you before I give it to her, because I'm going to see her soon, and this is my last chance to show it to you. So yeah, I really love these. As I mentioned, I got the rest of them, so I hope to do the rest of them at some point. I also got this back from the frame shop. I had done this one several years ago. This is Miss Bingley's library, and it's for my library, which now is empty, and I'm getting ready to decorate and stuff, so I thought I would start getting a few things framed. So this is on a 32 count Fox and Rabbit Paperbark with the called for Weeks Dye Works floss. And I got it framed in this, sort of antique looking frame. And I think this is going to look great in my library. That white house is something else. Those are hard, the white houses, because they show absolutely everything. But this was 2/2, and that was when I was doing 2/2 several years ago. I think it turned out well. Yeah, so that's exciting. And then let's see, I have a 3 finished objects. Let me go from smallest to biggest. So the first one is this little blessing sampler, which we got at the Great British Sampler Weekend. And I like to do one of these. I'm a little bit late getting started on it, but I finally finished it. And so here it is. Just cute. I really like the floss, which came with the kit. It came with the chart and the floss, which is called, it's a Chagall Silk Variegated Floss by Threadnuts. And it variegates through like blue and green and red, and I just really love that. Now the original sample that I got, I somehow managed to lose, so I had to order more in order to finish it. So it's like, you'll see it's slightly different down here. It doesn't have quite as much of the red. They do vary quite a lot, this particular thread. Even at the retreat, the samples that everyone got varied quite a bit. But I think it turned out really cute. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I just enjoyed stitching it. And it does remind me of the Chagall windows at the Art Institute in Chicago. If I can, I'll get Em to put a picture of those in the video so you can see them. They're absolutely gorgeous. If you're ever in Chicago and have a chance to go, you should. because they're just stunning. So yeah, this is on a mystery fabric. I think it's probably a 40 count because I did 1/2 with this silk floss. And I am going to give this away. So I'm going to give away the chart. Whoops, dropped it. I'm going to give away the chart and the rest of my thread, which is more than enough to do this sampler. And I'll also give you the rest of this fabric, whatever it is. I'll try to tidy it up a little bit, but it's more than enough to do that sampler. So if you would like to stitch that, why don't you use the word painting? You can tell me what your favorite painting is, or anything related to painting. Painting, not painted, painting. Okay, and I will mail that out. Okay, this next one is going to look a little bit familiar. So, round 2. It's Miss Bingley's library. So here's the story on this. I posted my finishes on Instagram, and usually I turn off the button which posts to Facebook because all my stitchy friends are on Instagram, and on Facebook it's mainly like friends from high school and neighbors and relatives and things like that, and they aren't that interested in stitching. But I forgot to press that button, so this got posted to Facebook. And one of my neighbors reached out to me and said, do you ever do commissions? And I'm like, well, I haven't, no, but why do you ask? And so here's the story behind this. I'll try to keep it brief, but it's kind of a very sweet story. So I live in this little village in upstate New York. It's like, if you've ever seen the movie The Music Man, that's exactly what it's like. We have one main street, there's one light, there's a little church on the corner with a steeple, there's one grocery store, you know, you get the idea. But we have this really sweet little library called the Southworth Library, which has been there since the late 1800s. It's made out of stone. It has this bell tower and a big clock on the front. It's been a real fixture of the village. And about between 15 and 20 years ago, they discovered that they had a letter from Abraham Lincoln in their archives. They didn't know they had it, but there it was. They found it. And they were able to, it was apparently quite significant. They were able to auction it off at Sotheby's probably, and they got like $1 million for it. And so they were able to, you know, kind of refurbish and add on to the library. And now it's just this absolutely gorgeous little space that everybody uses. It's really central to the community. It's on the corner of Main Street and Library Street, as you might expect, across from the post office. And, you know, it's such a sweet space, and like all the kids go there. They have, you know, events for the teenagers, like movie nights. All the ladies in the neighborhood go there for their book clubs and discussions and things like that. So when I posted it to Facebook, my next door neighbor saw it and reached out to me and wanted to know if I would do a commission. And the reason is that the librarian at this little library, who's been working there for like 40 years, is retiring next month. And so they thought this would be the perfect, you know, kind of retirement gift for her. So, you know, I told them I don't do commissions, but I will stitch it for you. I'll stitch it for her. And so I've been stitching up a storm the last week or so, because this was about like 10 days ago. And I had to have it finished by the time I came to New York this time. in order to get it to the framer and have it ready before she retires, because I won't be back again until later in March. So I think it turned out cute. I put like, I changed the flag. I put a little SW for Southworth. That's the name of the library. I changed her hair to blonde, which is just like the librarian's hair here in the village. And it's obviously, you know, it's much smaller because it's a 40 count, and the one I had framed was a 32 count. But that'll make it cheaper to frame, you know. So, yeah. So there's 2 of these. But I'm excited to share this with them, and I really hope that she likes it. Okay, sorry about my dog. Okay. I am also going to give away this chart because I think stitching it twice is more than enough. So I will give away this chart. Just use the word library. You can tell me about your library at home, or your favorite local library, or what color you think I should paint my library, anything like that. But so it's library for this one and painting for the other one. Okay, my last finish is the bigger one, and that is Sarah Milthorpe, which I absolutely adored working on. I loved every second of it. I'm kind of sad that it's over, but it turned out so beautifully. So here it is. Yeah. And so this is stitched on 40 count Crème Brûlée by Tabbycat with Soie d'Alger. Yeah. And I did, as you can see, I did change the verse. So the original, it's my own version of it. The original verse read, "The loss of time is much, the loss of grace is more, the loss of Christ is such as no man can restore." So I looked for another verse that would work, but had a hard time finding something that would just sort of capture the size and the format. So I kept the loss of time is much, and then instead of the loss of grace is more, I said the loss of love is more. And then instead of Christ, I said the loss of life is such as no one can restore it, you know. So I like how it turned out. Let me get you in a little bit closer. I mean, look at that border. It's just gorgeous. And it has all the good things. The big red house, the berry bowls, the cartouche, those big trees. So I'm hoping to take this and the small Miss Bingley's library to the framer this week, so that I can get this fully finished. Okay, so I just have a few whips. I did a little bit of work on Mary 395. My labor of love. So let's see here. Here we go. Well, let me show you the whole thing first, and I'll show you what I worked on. So this is Mary 395. It is on a 40 count Albarium by Cedar River Linen with a cranberry silk floss by, I can't remember right now. I've said it many times before, I just didn't write it down this time. So yeah. So this is what I did. Not a lot, but it took me a while. So the main thing I did was this right here, which originally I thought that was like a carriage, but I did an image search, and this is actually the heraldic symbol of the United Kingdom. So the lion stands for England, and the unicorn stands for Scotland. And so they said that when the unicorn is on the right, that's a Scottish version, which I thought was interesting because maybe, you know, whichever little girl stitched this had some Scottish heritage. But this was so hard. I literally had to take this out like 3 times before I got it right. It was just the counting was, or maybe it was my brain that wasn't working, but it took me a while. So I would have gotten more done if I hadn't had to do that 3 times. But I did this, and then I did, you know, everything else sort of below it. So the rest of, you know, I think next time I'll work my way back to the other side, which are more along the lines of geometric symbols. So yeah, but yeah, that that little heraldic symbol was a real chore. But I love how it turned out. Looks so good. Okay, I've got 2 more whips and 1 new start. Okay, so I have continued to work on Martha Walmsley, also by Hand Across the Sea. And so if you've watched my channel before, you know my dilemma about this one. So I have ventured forth on adapting it. And this is what I have so far. So it's so close. I could probably finish this pretty quickly if I just put my mind to it. So instead of just sort of ending this stump right here, I extended it on up, and then I'm gonna add, you know, some more, another flower, maybe a smaller flower, and some more leaves here. And then I think for the text, I'm not going to use the text on the chart, but I think I'll put under this vase over here, Amor Vinci Omnia, or Love Conquers All. And then all I have to do is finish the bottom border, and this one will be done. So I really think I could finish this before next time. It's very, very close. I just love it. It's so gorgeous. That bird, stunning. Okay, so that's that one. And then I got out one that I hadn't worked on in a little while. And I was excited to work on it again. And that is a MIrabilia at the Met. And really, I have just a little more stitching and the beading to do. And this one also will be done. So, you know, I really want to get going on this. But here she is. I can't remember right now what the fabric is. I think it's Fortnite, but I just can't recall. So it's coming along. I did a fair amount of the beading. I did quite a bit more on this stuff right here, dangly things. And this is probably what I'm gonna work on next. Just to do a little of the beading and try to get it done. Love this one. Okay, that's at the Met. And then I had gotten everything out to do this Flosstube, and I had nothing to stitch this morning, and I usually stitch just to kind of wake up my brain. So I looked through what I had, and I found this in my bag from Stitch North from last year. There is no picture, only the chart, but I'll show you my start. So this is Quirky Quaker Lobster by Darling Whimsy. This was a gift from Brin Needle at Stitch North, and it came with these gorgeous flosses. So it's this variegated red, which I'm using for the lobster. And then this one is really cool. That is kind of more for the border and other motifs. So this is, you know, it's just a fun little thing to stitch, and I'll probably just finish it up real quick. It's probably 14 count Ada. Yeah, so I'm doing 2/2. Cute. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today. Let me see, personal updates. I'm feeling marginally better than last time. I've been to the doctor. I'm having more energy, I'm eating more. Interestingly, they did point out that all the flying I'm doing may be having an impact because of the change in altitude that impacts the level of oxygen in your body. So I'm not thrilled about flying right now anyway, so I'll have to take all that into consideration. With everything that's been happening, I was not thrilled to get on the plane on Saturday, and yet I did. And it was fine. Everything was fine. So I'm here in New York this week and going back to Chicago. And then I'm heading to Tucson for a conference. And I'm doing something a little fun and out of the norm for me. I'm going a day early because this conference is at a golf resort, a national golf resort, Omni Tucson National Resort. And I am going to take a golf lesson. So I've never played golf. I have not the slightest idea how to play golf or if I'll like it. I'm sure I won't be good at it, I guarantee it. But apparently, you know, a lot of folks tend to arrive early and golf together. And so I'm like, yeah, maybe I should, you know, at least learn the basics so that I can be there for networking and things like that. So I had to get golf clothes because there is a dress code. So I have a golf outfit that I hope is presentable enough. And I'm going to take a golf lesson and then just, you know, have a day to relax a little bit because I'm going to try to limit my personal travel and just maybe extend travel related to work to allow for some personal time so that I don't have to fly as much. Yeah. And it should be nice and warm in Arizona at that time. So that'll be great. Then I'm back in Chicago, and then back in New York, and then I'm going to Florida in March, later in March, which also has a golf course, and people who golf. So, you know, this all might come in handy. We shall see. Mostly I've just been dealing with, you know, craziness at work. My particular job involves responding to the executive orders in lots of different ways. So trying to keep up with all of that and keep our sanity with all the changes. So that's what's going on for me. But for the most part, everything is pretty good. I'll probably shoot to do another Flosstube, let's see, later in March. After I get back, you know, my finishes, after I get Sarah Milthorpe back probably, and hopefully after I finish Martha Walmsley, maybe even at the Met if I can get going on that beading. And I have a couple new starts I want to work on too. So that's about all I have. I hope you all are doing well and staying warm. Spring is almost here. Probably next time I do a Flosstube, it will be quite a bit warmer and less snowy. So Please do like and subscribe and leave a comment. That helps a lot because I enjoy interacting with everyone, and I very much appreciate you watching. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.